We're not going to talk about analysis of performance, what I guess when I was in school we called it ratio analysis, and financial statement analysis. All those kind of mean the same thing. Now, why do we do financial statement analysis? One reason we do it, the main reason I guess, is to convey information. The other thing though is that if you look at a raw income statement or a balance sheet, the raw numbers themselves, it's very difficult to tell whether or not it's significant or important to the company. So if you saw that a company's interest expense was $10 million, is that good or bad? If you saw that the inventory on the balance sheet was $5 million, is that good or bad? Basically, you don't know. And long story short, we do financial statement analysis. We employ these financial ratios so that the financial statements kind of convey information to us and help us manage the firm and explain the financial benefits of the company and maybe some of the challenges that the company has. Now, in the big picture now, there are two kinds of analysis that we do. One type of analysis that we do with the company, this is called trend analysis. And a trend analysis is when you compare the company to itself over time. And so if we calculated a company's current ratio, what's called the current ratio, which we'll talk more about a little bit later, but the current ratio is a liquidity ratio. And it measures the firm's ability to meet its short-term indebtedness. It's called the current ratio, a very common financial ratio. If we calculated the current ratio every year for 4 years for a company, and we plotted it over time, so the current ratio for 2010 was this, for 2011 was that, so on and so forth. If we plotted that over time, we could look and see what the company's been doing relative to itself over time. And if you and I looked at this company's current ratio, we'd probably conclude that the firm's current ratio has been declining over time, that the firm's ability to meet its short-term indebtedness over time has been going down. That's not a good thing, but indeed, that's what we're looking at here, and this would be called, and this is known as, a trend analysis. You compare the company to itself over time. Now, the other type of analysis that we do now is known as a comparative analysis. And this is when you compare the company to some industry standard, some industry norm, often referred to as an industry average. Now, in your book I gave you a page out of one of these books, and it shows you how the numbers look. And what you can do if you want an industry average, an industry standard, you go to a library, our library here at the university, you can find Dun & Bradstreet, Robert Morris Associates, Risk Management Association, the Almanac of Financial Industrial Ratios. All of these are sources of what we call industry averages. And you would find the industry that the company competes in, look up the industry in one of these books that give you industry averages, and you would see what the average firm in the industry is doing. And if we did that over these 4 years, we might find that indeed this is what the typical firm in the industry has done over this same period of time. And so as you look at this, we're comparing the company to the industry. And so we would conclude that what? The typical firm in the industry, its ability to meet short-term indebtedness has been going up over time. The subject company, like our company 4 years ago, our ability to meet our short-term indebtedness was superior to that of the typical firm in the industry. But that over time, what's happened? Our ability to meet our short-term indebtedness has declined. And in 2013, our ability to meet our short-term indebtedness is below that of the typical firm in the industry. That's a comparative analysis. That's when you compare the company to some industry average. Note now, a comparative analysis can be done either over time or it can be done at a point in time. Point in time would be, in 2010, the company's ability to meet its short-term indebtedness was superior to that of the typical firm in the industry. So again, a comparative analysis where you compare the company to some industry average, that can be done either at a point in time or it can be done over time.